Okay, I'm going to give you a little refresher overview for the page builder so that you'll have this quick video to reference if you forget what we went over lightning fast in the training. So these are all of your pages, and I think all of them are in here. We have found a couple hidden pages as we've continued um, to go through, but the majority of them are in here. And at the very bottom, you'll see this Z sample page. So this is that page I was telling you about um, that I usually make for everybody that has all of the widgets in it so that you can see what each one looks like. So when you're building a page, you can kind of look at this and get an idea of what you want it to look like. So you'll see I have a title, I have H2 title, H3, here are the blocks, here's a content area, here's a video, which I do think we should think about restricting the width of this so that it doesn't get so big. Okay, 3 squares, rectangles, anyways, you can see they're all in here. So I'm going to go back to here, and now I'm going to go in here to edit this page. So I'll go to edit. You can see up here, this is the navbar text. So this, whatever you type in here is what will appear in the menu. We can hide it from the nav if we don't want it to appear in our navigation. So you would use this for like your campaign pages. And then this is where we can assign where it lives. So, if this was a whale watching and I wanted it to go under what to do, I would scroll down and select what to do to be its parent. In this case, this is just our test page, and we don't want it to have a thing, and we don't want it to appear in the menu. So I'm going to press save on that. Then we have the categories section. This is where you select any categories that pertain to this page. And these categories will help us with some of the widgets that we will build that are based on categories like itineraries, events, and blogs, for example. Region, same. If this happens to be, you do not have to select all locations. If it's everybody, you can just leave it blank and everything will show up. This is a restrictive section. So if I check Lopez Island, then anything that pertains to the category widgets will also only show those accounts that are from Lopez Island with the category assigned. Header images, this is where you can select them. You can select as many as you want. If there's one, it will just hold still. If there's more than one, it will scroll. And then this is the meat of where we add the widgets. So you'll see each one has a line break in here, and that kind of tells you, where each widget is. And this gives you kind of a nice preview of what the page will look like once you look at it. So you'll see if I scroll down here, I started creating some names. And I'm sorry, I realized a while ago that if I do this full screen, then it looks really small and nobody can see it. So I just kind of move my little recorder around now. So you'll see here I have 3 column squares. So I added this widget to name this, but I need to move it up to where that widget is. So I'm just pressing this little arrow until I get to my 3 column squares. And I can do the same thing with the 5 column square, and that one happens to be right here. And the 3 column tall, that one I know is up here. The nice thing about the builder part is over here, you can see the name of the actual one. So if you're looking at it in the builder, for example, if you open this page in the builder, then it's easy to see, oh, this one is the 3 column square and that's what I want. But when we're viewing it on the front side, we can't see it. So that's why I give all the titles. Okay, so that's how you move the things up or down. Now I've moved those, so I need to make sure that I save. And then I'm going to go in here and add widget, and I'll just run through the widgets again quickly so that you can kind of see them. Any of the titles, you'll select these. The content area will give you a content typing section. So you can type your content in here. You can also insert an image. If you do this, it will open the image gallery and you can select an image and then you'll see that image and I can insert it into the content. I need to have Dusty work on why it is all of them open to be so big, but you can just grab a hold of the little square here and size it down to whatever you need. Once you click on here, you can tell it, I want it to go to the left, or I want it to go to the right, and in the right it went way over here. I'm going to try this actually. I have an idea. Okay, that's better. Or you can tell it, I don't want you to do anything. And then this display decides whether it's going to be inline or whether it's going to break the text, which means that the text will appear above or below. So lots of stuff that you can do with the images. You can also add lists. You can add a link. If you want to add a link, you just highlight what you want to be. You press link. You do whatever your link is going to be. If it's an external link that links to somewhere else, you should open in a new tab. If it's our own content, we should just allow it to open in our own website. So this is a new one, so I'll just press this and insert. Okay, so that's the content area. I'm just going to save a new so that I can do a few more. I'm not going to go through each and every one of these ones because they all work the same. So I'm just going to go through maybe one or two of them. So if I do a 3-column square, I'm going to go here and you'll see it says no image selection, save new widget to add. So before you can add items to any of these widgets, you have to press save, and then you'll see you have the add item button. And what I usually do is I cheat, and if I know I want to do 3, then I'll add all 3, and then it makes it easier for me to say, block 1, block 2, block 3. And I can also do the links all at the same time. So here you'll see reminder. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different ways that you can link currently. You can do a custom link. So if you want to link to something that's outside of the system, you can do that by putting custom link and then just copying and pasting whatever the link is that you want to be in there. You can link to an account from our system, to an article from our system, which they are not populating yet because we're still moving those over, or a page or an itinerary. So in any case, you just select what it will be, and you click what you want it to be, and that will make the link for us. So I'm going to save this, and I'm going to show you something cool in case because you guys are going to be going in and selecting the images for some of these blocks that we have already set up for us. So if you happen to be looking at the page and, in here, you decide, oh man, I really don't want it to be a 3-column square. I want it to be 3-column wide rectangles. Before you select any images, it's very easy to change. I can just click this 3-column wide rectangle and it will move all of them over for me, and then I can press save. And because I have not selected any images, I don't have to recrop anything. So if you're kind of looking at the pages and you see how we've laid it out and you would rather it be a rectangle or a square or a tall column, just change it before you start adding the images. That is not to say that you cannot change it after, but if you do, I'll show you what will happen. You will select this image and we'll go in here and I'll show you the cropping. And so this works for everything. Anytime you select an image in the system, you will see the image here, and then you scroll down until you see the green. And that's how you know that that is the crop for the one that you're working in. So I'm going to press crop image. I'll press OK, and it will open it. Note that this is just a warning message. This does not mean that you cannot use this image. We have to double the sizes of the crops for Apple products that because you know they show however many more pixels per inch or something. So anyways, they have to be large. So if this red appears, you probably want to pick a different picture that is big enough. But you know, sometimes the image size is 750 by 500 or whatever, and so you know, kind of stretching at that 50 pixels is not that big of a deal. So you can still use an image if this red warning appears. So I'm going to click select and save. I could also just save, but then I would have to scroll down to the bottom and press select photo. So I'm just going to press this select and save. And so you'll see here, now if we go over and we refresh our page and we scroll down to the bottom, you'll see I have block, block, block. Okay. Now, if I go over here and I decide, you know what, I didn't want that. I wanted 3 column tall rectangles, and I press save. It still has this photo associated with it. So if I don't remember and don't change it out, this is what happens to the photo. And so just remember, if you've already selected images and you decide you want to change, then you have to recrop the images to make sure you have the right size that you need. And I can do that fairly easily by just going replace image. Okay. And then I'll just select this image, scroll down, and then I see, okay, this is the crop that I need now. And I can see. So you can still change it, and the important part is that the title and the page and the links and all of that stuff stays. So any of these block ones, you're able to do that. If you know, accidentally now change this to an image text side by side, this was a bad example because this sort of worked, but the only image that's going to appear is going to be this first image. So only switch the widgets in between these ones. If you need to switch to a different type of widget, then I recommend just creating a new one and archiving the old one. But for these ones, try and remember to look at your page and make sure you have the one you want before you crop those images. Okay, so then as I mentioned, if you go to events or listings or articles, you won't have to do anything. You just press save, and then once those widgets are created, they will pull from the category and you will see all of those. I can show you an example of that because the listings are working. So if I go save, and then I'm going to go back to the builder, and I'm going to select a couple categories just so I know that something shows up. And then I'll refresh here. And you can see now the listings are at the bottom. Okay, so that is in a nutshell how we use the page builder. I will create a more in-depth training for you after the go live. And of course, if you have any questions or need to know how to use anything in particular, just give me a call or shoot me an email, and I can make specific videos for you about any widget or questions that you might have if you need those for reference.